Chat, I have updates for you guys. I have updates. Oh man, it has been a hell of a week. No, seriously, like a hell week. Clean your counters. I haven't been here in 3 days. Like, I come here for like 2 hours, stream, and leave because I can't stay here very long. Dude, my room is destroyed. Like, it's actually disgusting, chat. It's so bad. Like, I stuck my head in there a little bit, like 20 minutes ago, and it just smells. It just smells disgusting. It's just ugh. So I have an update though for you guys and all of that. The tune has changed. The tune has changed. So one of the few non-protected classes, chat. So if you don't know what a protected class is, age is a protected class, race is a protected class, religion is a protected class. And so if you trample on those things, it's a big no-no. Age though is for older, not younger. So my mom and her lawyer were a little suspicious, thinking that they might actually have been trying to push me aside because I'm young. And I do live in a place where a lot of like older families, right? Like, it's not like a bunch of like young college kids, right? It's not downtown Southie, but I'm the one young one. But there's nothing we can do about that. And the reason we think that is because we found out there was an email that went out to every single person who was affected, talking about what the next steps are going to be. Guess who didn't get anything? So that's number one. Number two, last night did a little bit of research, talked to some people, you know, some people that know their stuff better than me. I be one Pokemon for fun. Appreciate the prime. Nope. That actually says something totally different. You know what? I'm not gonna. We did some research, and actually found that it is likely a health code violation. And actually, they violated my rights last year by not replacing the baseboards originally when my place flooded, which caused mold 6 months later, which then caused me to feel sick. And then they did replace it, and they gave me an air purifier on loan, etc. So today, I woke up and I was ready to go. I had a lot more information than I had before. I sent an email yesterday. I made sure to pick some of my better days of streaming. I sent photos, videos, loss of wages for each day that I don't get to stream. So that was like, you know, Board of Health and Safety as well, actually in Massachusetts, will come to your house for free and evaluate if the place is livable. Did a little bit of research to see what the standards of livable is, and actually that room would fail. 110% that room would fail. So I went down there today after I sent my slightly threatening email yesterday, and I said, we're gonna talk. And I was like, I know you're not so-and-so, who's like, she runs all of like the complex area. She runs like the other like 3 or 4 that they own in different parts of the state. And I was like, I know she'll be here tomorrow, but we're gonna have a talk, because she was the manager that was giving the other girl, who's like, she's like the realtor for this place, who's my mom's friend, who was originally trying to do all this stuff for her. She was giving her an attitude and giving pushback and saying, we're not going to pay for the hotel, we're not going to pay for all this stuff. And I went in, and the tune was totally changed this morning. All of a sudden, everything was open. It was, yes, we will pay for all the hotels. Yes, we'll even pay for some of the electricity if it ends up being too much. Yes, they're going to be there first thing tomorrow morning. We'll make sure that the walls are inspected. If the walls are not inspected, if there's mold, we will have the drywall replaced. The hotel will be compensated during that time. I told them the living room actually got a little bit of flooding as well, so I would like for the entire living room to be done, to be checked over as well. Also, I do not want to have any of my stuff touched without me on the premises, but at the same time though, I want assistance with anything that needs to be moved, because I've had to move everything myself for the last 2 days. So they offered to bring in more people to help me move my stuff around my apartment, so then I don't have to move my stuff around. The entire tone had changed. It went from like, nah, it's whatever, to once last night, made a couple calls, made a couple emails of like, hey, unfortunately for you, tenants in Massachusetts have actually way more rights than you probably think. And you don't want to do this, because I got time. I was in and out in 15 minutes this morning. Yesterday when I went over there, before I started my stream, I was there for an hour, and they're like, oh, you can use this small upstairs room. And like I even mentioned, I was like, yeah, you guys should have set me up with some other room. Like I get it, like you're trying to be nice and accommodating, but don't try to say like you turned it down. No, your accommodations were not to the standard of what I already had set for my previous engagement. And they were like, yes, we're very sorry, we were just trying to help. There was no disrespect meant by it. I was like, of course. I'm gonna have the place professionally cleaned as well. They're going to pay for it. The place I stayed last night was way better, but it was much smaller, and the shower was just like kind of tiny. But oh my god, the bed was like a billion times better. I actually slept last night, which is great. I actually don't feel exhausted. I feel sore everywhere because my friend just graduated from the police academy, and his brother was throwing him a surprise party, and then they were like, oh, let's go to so-and-so's house, go watch the fight. So I was at one of my friend's house till like 11 o'clock waiting for the McGregor fight, and I just got exhausted. I was like, bro, I can't do this anymore. I gotta go home. I didn't sleep at all the night before, and I had to drive back like another 30 minutes. I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, I gotta go. So I missed the ankle snap.
The next morning.
It has been a long week, my friends. It has been a long week, and I have stories. Hello, chat. Hello. It's been a little while. It has been a day, to say the least. So updates, chat. Updates. Where do I start? I'll start with hotel. I'll start with apartment first. So chat's not done yet. It's not done. Yesterday I got yesed up and down that everything was going to be taken care of, and today happened. Today I got a call from the person I had sent an email to. She's the head property manager of my place, of my section. She calls me bright and early and is like, hi, is this Jeff? I'm like, yeah. And she was like, oh, I just want to let you know that you know, I was by your apartment earlier, and your apartment's actually dry. And I was like, well, I mean, it's been on fans and dehumidifiers for a few days, so I'm not surprised. But, and she's like, so it's all set to move back into. I was like, carpets are done already? She's like, what? I go, the carpets are already replaced? That was fast. She goes, they're not replaced. I go, excuse me? And she's like, they're not replaced. And I was like, so it's not done then? She's like, well, they don't need to be replaced. It's already dried. I was like, no. I was like, I just woke up. Don't start with me. I already had this conversation. I'm not having it again. It will be replaced. She was like, well, I mean, you know, it's all dried. I go, I'm not dealing with the mold, first off. Second off, the wall actually probably should be inspected as well for damage because the water came through it. And she's like, okay. We can get the carpets replaced. That's no big deal. We want to make you happy. And I was like, okay. That was already gonna happen, so don't act like it's a favor. And she's like, yeah. So where are you staying? And I was like, I'm staying in a hotel. That's also on. And I literally said that's also on you guys. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, what place are you staying at? So I told her what place I'm staying at. And she was like, well, she's like, I'm gonna be here till 5 o'clock. So I'll let you do your thing. If you need anything, if you want to talk, you know, whatever it is, like, you know, I'll be here till 5. I was like, sounds good. So I woke up, took my shower, packed up, hopped in my truck, didn't even stop at home, pulled right up to her office. So I walked in, I saw my mom's friend who's like the realtor. She saw me. I walk in, I'm like, the secretary's on the phone. So I sit down for a few minutes.
I'm on fire.
I'm like waiting for the secretary to be done because, like, you know, it's not her fault. I don't want to, you know, secretary's doing her thing. So my mom's friend, who's a realtor, like really, like she's with a client, walks by really fast. And she's like, oh, Jeffrey, are you already being seen? And I was like, nah, I'm looking for Holly. And the secretary goes, oh, she's not here. And I go, what do you mean she's not here? She goes, she just left. Like, apparently, she had to go home because she had an emergency. Something was leaking in her house. So HVAC was coming. I was like, isn't that ironic? So I said to the secretary, I go, okay, can you do me a favor? She's like, sure. I go, can you pretend like I'm really angry at you, like you specifically? And she just starts laughing and she's like, what? And I was like, you know, like I came in like screaming at you, but like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted something done, but I'm not actually gonna yell at you because I don't want to be an asshole, but like, you know what I mean? Can you like give her like a message like, oh, I was like in a really strong way? And she's like, yeah, I can do that. And I was like, okay. So I told her basically, I was like, you told me that you were gonna be here all day till 5 and 30 minutes later you were gone. So that's number one. Number two, I'm here to talk about all the things we have. You know, we have to talk about, like, my hotel will be paid for, my extra electricity because of the industrial fans and industrial dehumidifier running will be paid for. Cleaning of the entire apartment after they do the work, because one, it smells terrible, and two, because obviously there's gonna be people dragging in and out with a lot of like, you know, like boots and shit. It will be professionally cleaned. You will pay for that. All of these things. And I was like, and make sure she calls me back as soon as possible when she gets back. She's like, sounds good. So I hop back in, I drive back to my house. And so I check my room. She had told me that it was dry, and I had this suspicion of a feeling that it wasn't. So I walked over to my bed, and I didn't have shoes on, didn't have socks on, and I stepped in a puddle. Part of the carpet was still soaking. So I was like, okay. Okay, that's how we're gonna do this, okay? That's how we're gonna do it. So they had told me that they were gonna contact my insurance. So I called them and I told them the entire story and how they were being negligent and shit. And they were like, we can help, you know, if, you know, they try to charge, but like, this is a problem. So they were like, we can at least file your hotel though, just in case, like, so you at least will get paid by somebody. I was like, sounds good. So I put in my claim. And I was like, by the way, like they called me today, say my place is dry and it's not. And she's like, you know what you should do? You should get a video of it still being dry, of it being wet. Because if they specifically made a point to say it was dry after they checked and you weren't there to check with them and they were wrong, that's massive. That is big. So what I did is I took a video from my phone. I went over to my computer and I looked at the time in the corner, the date and time today. And I took a paper towel. And I walked into my bedroom and I put it on the floor and put my hand on top of the paper towel and then took my hand off it. And there it is. My hand's right on the middle of the fucking paper towel. And I was like, my apartment's really dry, huh? So then I sent that email to them and I said, this is my last warning. After this, I am going to the Department of Health of Massachusetts. This is the last chance. So something happened. Something happened somewhere on their end. And about 3 hours later, I got up at my door and I open it up and it's the maintenance guy who I'm chill with and this lady. And she's like, hi, I'm so-and-so. You know, it's nice to finally like meet you face to face. I'm the, you know, like we've talked a little bit. I'm the property manager for both this place and a couple others. I'm like, oh yeah, we've talked. She's like, can we come in? I was like, be my guest. So I let her in. She's wearing a mask and stuff. And I was like, just so you know, I'm fully vaccinated. She's like, okay. And I was like, come in my bedroom. So you told me this morning that it doesn't smell in here. How about now? Oh, that was the other thing I was pissed about. So they came here and they left my door open to my bedroom. My bedroom smells terrible because the soaking carpet. So it made the rest of my apartment smell bad. So I had to air it out before I started like doing anything here for a while. And I was like, how does it smell to you now? And she was like, yeah, I see what you're talking about. I go, I can step out of the room if you want to take the mask off, get a real good whiff. And she was like, no, I don't think that'll be necessary. And I was like, okay, just so you understand. I was like, so the carpet's still wet. So she reaches down exactly where she's standing and touches. And I go, fire! Come here. Come here. And she's like, so she walks over to me. I was like, put your hand here where my hand was. And she put her hand in and I saw and I felt the carpet go high value property manager. You know what I mean? She's very, you know, she was wearing very nice clothes, you know, she felt that squish and I just looked at her like dead in the eyes. And I was like, so it's not dry. And she goes, wow, I didn't check this part. And I was like, yeah, I could tell. Maybe that's also because you never talked to me. So you didn't actually know where it even leaked. And I go, Eduardo, don't say nothing. Because he was the other guy, the maintenance guy. I go, don't say nothing. you tell me, where did the leak originate? And she's like looking around my room and can't, like, you could tell she's panicked. So she points to the spot where the wetness was. And I go, nope. And I point to the left. That's where it originated. Was there something there? I go, yep. So I point out here, my setup. I go, my entire setup. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, so let's talk then. What do we do from here? And she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, seriously, I'm like, not only just on my behalf, but everyone's behalf. You know, we never meant to make you upset. We want you to be happy here. You know, that was our fault. Unfortunately, it happened on a Friday, right? Like, you know, that's how it goes, right? Always happens on a Friday, huh? And I go, yeah, if only I still worked in only corporate and didn't know that you could actually get the stuff done on the weekend. You just get charged an upcharge, but you didn't want to pay for it. And she was like, well, the company we use doesn't really do weekends. I go, I don't care what company you're using. Any company would do it on the weekend. You just have to pay upcharge. She's like, well, we already have a contract with them, so it's a little different. I go, so you don't have an emergency clause in that contract? Why do I not believe you? And she's like, I didn't do the contract. Legal is not my area. And I was like, clearly. So by the end, she was like, I just want to try to make you happy here. We never meant to make you upset. I apologize for myself and anyone else, you know, and she apologized for like other people I had talked to. Some of us just didn't understand how severe the situation was. We should have done a better job. She said, just so you know, I have the ability to sign off on leases to break them. So if you wish to move into a different unit, I will sign off and let you move into a different unit. If you wish to break your lease and leave without charge, I will let you do it. Now that is a beautiful thing to have in my back pocket, because I signed an extension on my lease from August to November because I plan to move soon. I've told you guys this before, but I'm not quite ready right now. I had planned to move end of September, early October-ish, you know, and I left November just in case. If I get it done early, I won't have to pay for that last month or two. We're hoping tomorrow is going to be the last day of this bullshit. Can you get that stuff in writing? Well, actually, that was what we talked about. I talked about with my insurance, and I talked about with my mom's lawyer, and stuff like that. It said, let's try to keep good faith for now. But today's agreement was the last agreement that we will go to without seeking legal action. So if I wake up tomorrow and I get some long story on how they couldn't do it, it will start. The process will begin. So we'll see. They want to avoid it. I want to avoid it, you know. Wait, that door led to a kitchen yesterday, and now it's a closet. I actually live in a rotating house. So every few days, all the rooms shift. There's not that many, though. It's not that confusing. And you guys missed my tweet last night. I had to stay in a hotel for one last night. I got there pretty late because I was here pretty late last night. I got there, I was tired, it was like midnight, whatever. Took my shower, whatever, got dressed, and then I went to go to the bathroom before I went to sleep. And as I was walking out of the bathroom, I like thought I missed the light because, okay, this bathroom, it had a sensor light and a switch light, and they were controlled by two different things. So I hit the switch, but the light didn't turn off. So like I was like half like through the doorway and turned around, and this was the worst idea ever because all my momentum was going forward at the same time I turned to the left. Because I turned to the left, I like went a little bit wide left, and my pinky toe just straight up went right into the f***ing door. Boom! Door frame, full speed, did not slow down, and all I heard was a little, and I just went, uh-oh. Okay, to be fair though, it was much more like, uh-oh. More of like that type of thing, you know? I walked over to my bed, like, I was like, ow, 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 ow. Walked over to my bed, sat down, pulled my foot up, and it's already bleeding. And I was like, shit. I like turned it, and the nail was broken straight down the middle. Just like cracked in half, right? So I took my towel that I just used to take a shower with, and I wrapped it around my foot twice and pulled it, right? And Yeah. So basically I woke up this morning and part of the nail just is like kind of falling off at this point, but it's all like bloody and gross, dude. But yeah, that's like broken toe number 21 at that point. But regardless though, the key is I woke up this morning, you know, I fell asleep like 4 in the morning. I woke up this morning, got a call from here, my place, and they were like, hey, just so you know, we got it done a little bit faster. The carpet's in. We checked the walls for moisture and mold. They're clear, they're clean. We can monitor it as we go, but for right now, everything seems to be fine. All good. So I came back here. About 10 minutes after I got here, the woman who's like the person who's the property manager of my place and like all of them, the one who came and apologized to me yesterday, her and one of the maintenance guys are here. And I walked through it. I was like, awesome, good. Smells mostly gone. It smells of new carpet, which is a little ass, but like that'll fade. I moved my desk back in here. I had to have them help me because the part you guys sit on, my second monitor, it's like kind of broken. So if you move it, you have to have someone hold that piece or otherwise it'll snap off. So he helped me bring it in, and then I spent the next like 3 hours or so. I changed my bed sheets, put my whole desk setup back together, put this back together, put my living room back together, my kitchen, my bathroom, everything, dude. I am just wiped. But at least my house is like 80% clean at this point. Was Eduardo there? Yeah, he was there. Homie was there. But it actually, the story takes a weird turn. When I was moving all my stuff back in, I got pretty like overheated, right? So I took my shirt off and I had my fan on. Because like my place was really warm when I got back today. My AC has been off since I was gone. I stopped at Panera on my way home and I got a bagel and I hadn't eaten anything yet. So I was like, I'm gonna take a few minutes, you know, after like I moved. I think I got my computer set up. The monitors were back. The camera wasn't set yet. Table was set. And some stuff in here was all set. So I sat in the corner over there in my room with a little plate and I'm eating my bagel, you know, and I was eating my bagel. And I heard my door open, chat. And I heard, hi? And I'm like, they left like 45 minutes ago. I had like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm not walking out there yet. And I was like, where's my shirt? And I'm like, oh shit, it's in the other room. So I put my bagel down on top of my mini fridge and I peeked the door behind me. I was like, and the door is shutting. And I didn't recognize the person shutting the door. And I'm like, so I sprinted over to it and I look through like the peephole. It's my neighbor across the hall. He goes into his apartment and shuts the door. And I'm like, not like my door was open. He was checking to see like, oh, is anybody here? Like, if somebody's breaking in. No, my door was shut. It just was unlocked because they left and I hadn't locked the door behind them. So I gave it like a 2-minute like contemplation of like, what the f do I do? So I get dressed again, right? Got to put a shirt back on, grabs, you know, whatever. And I go across the hall and I was like, because I know, like, I've seen him, like, he's got like a family of 3 in there. I'm like, that's just so weird. So he opens his door and he's like, hey. And I was like, did you just walk into my apartment? And he was like, yes. I was looking for Eduardo, who's like the maintenance guy. I was like, oh, okay, that actually makes sense now. I was like, oh, he goes, yeah, he was like, honestly, I saw him. They've been over there all morning. I was looking for him. He was supposed to come over here after, but he didn't come here. So I just stuck my head in really quick. I'm sorry. And I was like, nah, good, dude. It's all good. Like, it's fine. You just kind of scared me a little bit. He's like, honestly, I didn't think anyone was in there. And then I heard something as I shut the door and I just kind of like ran back over here. And I was like, yeah, I saw. And he just starts laughing. He's like, yeah. And I was like, all good, dude. All good. He was telling me that they got flooded as well, if not worse than I did. Except their bedroom didn't get flooded. It was like their living room and stuff, just like last year. And he was like, yeah, we're actually moving to another apartment. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, they offered us a different unit and we're taking it because you can't do this shit any longer. And I was like, honestly, not a bad call. I would do the same thing, and they offered me as well, but I'm leaving in like 2 or 3 months. So like to move all my shit to another fucking apartment and then move it all again in 2 or 3 months, like honestly, I'm just saying worth it. And he was like, yeah, I get it. And he was like, well, at least they came this morning and fixed all your stuff, like your carpeting and stuff. They were here all morning. I was like, yeah. I was like, I fought with them for a couple days. He was like, oh, I heard. I'm like, what? He's like, oh, when you guys talked in the hallway and you were giving the lady a stern talking to. I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, I just trying to make sure I got what I wanted. And then he just was like, oh, I know. I was like, you nosy little f, dude. He was sitting on the other side of the door the whole time when I was giving her the talk, dude. I was like, this dude is keeping an eye on everything I'm doing, dude. You little bastard. But he's chill though. He's actually chill. So I didn't mind too much. Anyways though, I'm glad to be home, chat. I'm gonna be honest. I'm really glad to be home because I was just getting so tired. Like I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight.